Trust me, that day is coming for you, Harry. You will rewind all these memories about what your wife has done, and you'll regret not doing something about it sooner. You're just in delusion right now.
There's been growing speculation that Meghan Markle, in her pre-Prince Harry era, before she had ever met the duplicitous Duke, was already a Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Princess Diana obsessive. Princess Carparkle has written on this week, comparing those two outfits. Nobody on the planet can ever convince me that this wasn't intentional. Meghan Markle taking inspo from Princess Catherine's wedding reception dress. Markle and Trevor's wedding was 3.5 months after William and Catherine's, and both of Catherine's dresses were the talk of the fashion world. All of the dress styles in the world for a beach wedding, and she picks one strikingly similar to Catherine's? Sure, total coincidence. And we know that at the time, Meghan Markle had written about Catherine's wedding for her blog, The Tig. According to Taz, royal YouTuber added, yes, sorry, but no one can convince me that Meghan hadn't been obsessing over the royal family, especially Catherine and Diana, for years. Even she didn't think she'd ever get as close as she did. That's why she always looked so surprised. Holy F, how did I ever pull this off? And of course, when you look at all of the pieces to this puzzle, you've got to take them in the totality. The fact that Meghan Markle lied about the fact that she had no idea who Prince Andrew was and spent an entire event claiming that she didn't know who he was. The fact that she lied about not knowing anything about the royals, even though it was revealed by Andrew Morton that she'd read Diana, Her True Story, by Tom Bower, and of course, there she was, outside Buckingham Palace as a young lady. And so I just thought it was really worth doing a proper deep dive, and thank you so much to Ash on my team for doing this, at Meghan in the past and whether she was inspired by both Catherine and Diana. And let's just take a look at some of the outfits which I think make it very, very clear that she was indeed. That this is always a woman who has had the royal family on her mind. That this is always a woman who knew that she wanted to emulate both Diana and Catherine. P-Dina, royal YouTube sensation, joins me now. P-Dina, where do you stand on this one?
I think you can see a lot of examples of that. Yeah, Meghan trying to emulate things with Catherine and Diana, and it just shows you how much she was invested in, these personalities that she wanted to be like. And I think using your dress and your clothing to show a likeness to these people is a little eerie. It's a little crazy. I mean, I just think this would give me a lot of concern if I were Harry, to not really open my eyes up to, my wife knowing who we are. I mean, you have to understand that your mother was the most famous woman in the world. You cannot tell me that someone like Meghan in Hollywood, who's been to Buckingham Palace as a child, who, has been in the world, traveled the world, lived in Canada with the Queen on the money that she earned on suits. You never once questioned anything. You didn't really think about the fact that the queen, the monarchy, Princess Diana, her son, like these things, it's not realistic to think that Meghan didn't know anything about these people. And so her saying it just makes people think that, like we're stupid. Like we're not stupid. We get it. We see that you did know who they were. And what you've done is you've shown yourself in the past how you've tried to have the likeness of the late Diana and Catherine. And writing this article about her shows you that you clearly knew who these people were. How, I mean, even in the Netflix show, she tells her mother, "Hey, mom, I'm dating someone. It's Prince Harry." And then immediately her mother's like, "Oh my gosh," like her mother knew. Okay, so if your mother knows who Prince Harry is immediately, then of course you did, Megan. So, that's just one example. So we can see Megan is not an honest person. She is trying to create the fairy tale. This is why she doesn't speak to her family. She doesn't want them outing the reality of her situation. So she's trying to paint these pictures of what she wants it to be like, oh, I don't know who they are, and I'm so innocent to the world and everything. Girl, we are on to you. We see it. But it's just one thing out of many that are not good signs. And this is how I know this marriage is not going to last, because Harry is going to be the victim in a very big way to all these little things that we're seeing. That's just one of them. Okay. So it's amazing to me that he can't even be truthful with himself about what your wife knew and what she didn't know about your mother, your family.
I know, it's absolutely mortifying, isn't it? The fact that he has tried to convince himself of that. I mean, P-Dina, I'm very similar age to Meghan Markle, a little bit younger. She's 43, born, I think, August 81.
Yeah.
I'm 42, born March 83. Now,
Hmm.
if you were a teenager, I was
Hmm.
14 when Diana died, right? And you had
Hmm.
any sort of interest in not just the royal family, even had interest in pop culture or news or Hollywood. I mean, we've
Hmm.
spoken about this ourselves privately, P. Diner, the impact that event had on our lives. You
Yeah.
knew, you knew. And we know that she knew about Catherine and William's wedding because she
Hmm.
wrote about it. And of
Yeah.
course, if you were a young bride at that time in 2011, about to get married yourself, and you've got stars in your eyes and you're wanting to emulate the class of a royal wedding, of course you're going to look at what Catherine did. Of course you
Mhm.
are. Like, it's a total no brainer. So it's just like, I don't even think she can try and deny it anymore. But of course she has. And she did pull the wool over Harry's eyes. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address, and sign up today.
I think it's a sickness. There is something seriously wrong with you if you think you're just gonna lie like that. You like, and we're not gonna know. And Harry, I think at some point he will rewind all of these things when he hits his breaking point. He'll start to think, oh yeah, and when she did this, and when she said that, it will really start to click with him in a way that he will accept it. Right now, I think he hears it, he knows it, but he's like, I ain't gonna accept that. I'm with her. I've got to be with her. I can't accept these things. He will have to at one point. And trust me, that day is coming for you, Harry. You will rewind all these memories about what your wife has done, and you'll regret not doing something about it sooner. You're just in delusion right now. You're just in a space of life right now that you are so discombobulated from everything, from your finances, from your family not speaking with you. You're in a foreign country. You've got these security issues. You're lost. Like, there's so much going on with him that he can't even put it into perspective in a way that's truthful for him, because he's dealing with so much on the outside. He can't even take it in truthfully right now. But that day will come. And when it does, like I've always said, he will be the biggest loser in all of this, because I think at that point is when his life is really going to take a turn for the absolute worst. And the only people that he's going to help him is his family. The support from his family is what he's really going to rely on at that point. And just maybe he'll get it from William. It's hard to say, but
I don't
there
think
will
so.
be a time.
I don't think so
you know,
because William's a bit like me. He doesn't actually view Harry as a victim. He doesn't. He views Harry as someone who has been a complicit part in an attempt to bring down the British royal family, and so that
but
doesn't make him a victim. Like, he might be a
yeah.
victim of Meghan, but he's
Hmm.
not a victim in terms of his behavior.
No, that's absolutely right. But let me ask you, what were to happen considering his abuse issues if he really hit rock bottom with that?
I
I
mean, it's
think
a
that
really
would take
interesting
it.
question. It is a
Hmm.
really interesting question. And I do not know because I think you cannot know until you're in that situation. But
Hmm.
having spoken to lots of people who have had these types of feuds with siblings, very often, P-Dina, when a wayward sibling crosses some type of moral line, folk
Hmm.
tell me there is no going back. Now, I find this one completely impossible to understand on a personal level because, like, my sister, I've only got one sibling, my younger sister, and we are super tight. So tight. Like, we are with each other till the end of the earth, right?
Hmm.
But my sister would never, ever, ever have
Yeah.
done what Harry did to William, ever. And so I just think William is a very headstrong type of guy. And I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
necessarily think there is any way going back. Now, look, is it different if you see someone at rock bottom and all of a sudden they have nothing and they've been dumped, etc., etc.? I just don't know. I just don't know. I
Yeah.
think William is not really a man for turning. Once he's made a decision, he's a very, very stubborn guy. And once he's made a decision, he sticks to it. And remember, ironically, that's exactly the same approach that Meghan Markle has taken with her family.
Yeah, but I look at it also like this. I think maybe before William was married with children, there may have been a chance for forgiveness. But thinking about what Harry has done to Catherine and that Charlotte, it just seems like yeah, he has crossed a point where he could never really go back. And I think I don't even know how bad it would have to get for it to ever have forgiveness from William. I just think it would have to be so bad, and maybe he would forgive him, but I just think now that he's married with children, it's going to be a tough road for Harry with William. We know the king will, I think, just because it's his son, but it's just one of those things where Harry is messed up so badly that there's nothing really he can do unless I don't even know unless, but just show some kind of humility and, get rid of Megan, because that's the only way it would happen, right? I mean, Megan would have to be
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
completely out the
I
picture.
mean that is like just starting point. That is just
Yeah,
starting point. Um,
yeah, yeah.
P. Dina, by the way, the sort of embarrassment, the pop culture embarrassment for Harry and Meghan keeps on coming, and it came in a very strange place this week. I want to show you this. So, the Real Housewives of London. I have to say, my fiance super excited about this, and I might even give it a go. They released their trailer, but within the trailer, there's a very short clip involving a woman called Panthea Parker, who is one of the new stars of the show, who is on her way to the palace. And she threatens to tell King Charles what she really thinks about the way Prince Harry has treated her. And then her husband, who is apparently a very successful guy in his own right, quickly steps in. This is just in the trailer, so we only see this short clip. We don't get it in any context, but he steps in and says, no, no, no. And he's looking through some type of document. You're not actually allowed to do that. So watch this, P-Dina. But first, the number one worst fruit for your waistline. Look, are you turning healthy fruits into highly unhealthy fruits without even realizing it? Fruit can be one of the healthiest things you can put into your body. But the majority of Americans are guilty of making this single mistake that can counteract all of the health benefits of fruit. Some fruits can help with occasional constipation, reduce bloating, and even help burn calories. Others can wreak havoc on your digestive system and energy levels. Now, I came across this viral presentation from world renowned heart surgeon Dr. Stephen Gundry that showcases the 3 fruits to stop eating today. It was shocking. I had no idea. And after finding it out, I've stopped eating these 2. I'm going to put a link for you all to watch it because I want you all to gain this information. I think it's truly important, actually. You can go watch it right now at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. That's thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. I've also linked it in the description box below this video too, or if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, you can just click on the QR code on screen, or hold up your phone, to the QR code. You know how it works. Oh, and by the way, eliminating these fruits could forever change the way we help increase energy levels, decrease brain fog, support digestion, and even lose weight. So make sure to click on the link below or go to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken to find out now. Dr. Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic. He feels younger today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date. You can watch and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. Just click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
Okay, my darling, off to the palace.
I'm going to go up to the king and I'm going to go, how do you feel about Harry and what he did?
It says specifically, do not ask the monarch about Harry and Meghan.
I mean, look, I guess he could have been joking. He could have been joking, but I found that quite interesting. Like, he literally looks down and reads off some type of crib sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I know you do get certain instructions when you do go to meet royalty. That does happen. I don't know, saying that I think is like a little dig at Harry and Meghan. No, I mean, I think it's a little quirky.
I
I
mean,
think it
it's
could have been done in fun
yeah, it's
taste.
definitely a dig. My guess would be probably the palace would be stupid, and they're not stupid. I don't think the palace are actually
Yeah,
going to issue any type of guidance because they know it would be everywhere. But this is, I guess, a
yeah,
great way for this new Real Housewives, because we've never really had a really good, proper Real Housewives of London. There's been other
hmm
areas of the UK, so I guess it was a good way to get publicity. And of course, this
yeah,
week, P-Dina, the big story really about this peace summit, right, between the staff members for the king and the staff members for Harry and Meghan. But of course, I think the overall of this is just proving why Prince William has been right. And I wanted to share with you and get your reaction to something that Canal Citadel posted on this, which I just thought was really, really interesting. So she wrote, P-Dina, the secret meeting gate story is running its predictable course. The press went from publishing the picture between King Charles's PR and the Sussex PR to attempting to involve Prince William in it, claiming he would approve. Since no one was buying that, they are now at unyielding William is an obstacle to the reconciliation, while good king and adoring father is attempting to mend the relationship with his prodigal darling son. So back to square one then. In 1999, speaking to the Sunday Telegraph, Prince Philip responded to the criticism about him being too tough on his heir Charles. He said, he's a romantic and I'm a pragmatist. That means we do see things differently. And because I don't see things as a romantic would, I'm, quote, unfeeling. This is one of the key differences we also see between King Charles and his heir William when it comes to their vision for the monarchy and the handling of the Harry situation. Prince William has adopted the pragmatist view that although Harry remains his brother, he is a liability for the monarchy and is best left where he is, out of it. Therefore, there is no back and forth on what to do with Harry. It has been decided already at Sandringham. What we see with King Charles is exactly what his father was mentioning, the romantic side of him that refuses to leave well enough alone. This exact scenario happened in October 1970, when Charles was 21 and went to secretly meet the Duke of Windsor, his great uncle who had been exiled by his own brother for bringing chaos in the monarchy after he abdicated to marry an American actress. Christopher Wilson wrote, King George was angry at his brother's betrayal and refused to take him back after exile because he knew allowing the Windsors to return would invite endless headlines about their showboating, their parties, and their politics. That toxic sideshow would make his own role impossible. When his brother died of cancer, the Duke of Windsor reached out to his niece, the young Queen, attempting to manipulate her into letting him return into the royal fold. She refused, upholding her father's decision. Therefore, the Duke bided his time, and years later, via Louis Mountbatten, he now reached out to Charles, his great nephew. Charles agreed to meet him in Paris for secret talks. As soon as Charles left, the Duke's private secretary leaked the private meeting between the heir and the exiled Duke to the press. Historian Christopher Wilson, then 23 at the time, got the scoop. And he wrote in a 2019 article in Town and Country, I called the Duke's private secretary, John Utter, expecting him to deny it had taken place, but instead Utter called me round the house to give me full chapter and verse. Astonishing, because in those days the royals never, ever discussed private meetings. The Duke was keen to get the meeting out into the public domain. He was coming to the end of his days and wanted reconciliation and a recognition of his place in history as he'd largely been forgotten. Charles came back, ready to offer an olive branch to the Duke and Wallis Simpson by inviting them for a weekend visit to England. Courtiers for the Queen refused his request, and when the Queen and Queen Mother learned of the meeting, Charles was met with flat-out refusal. No one was more angry than his grandmother, the Queen Mother, who blamed Wallis and Edward for pushing her husband into an early grave. Queen Elizabeth II further supported her mother. The Duke was never coming back into the royal fold. Thus, Charles's request was denied, and 18 months after their meeting in Paris, the Duke of Windsor died of throat cancer, a recluse from the royal family. See how history has an uncanny way to repeat itself when lessons are not learned from the past.
Mm.
Now, P-Dina, I mean, doesn't Canal Citadel just have the most wonderful way with words? I just think she's utterly
Yeah.
brilliant and well done for that.
Yeah.
But secondly, isn't she so true? There is an
Mhm.
emotional weakness in Charles that has run through his entire life, unfortunately. And what William has, and why I fully support William, is because he has that absolute stoicism of not just his grandmother, the Queen, but his great-grandmother, the Queen Mother, to say, no, 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 no. Your bed was made, now lie in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think William sees the bigger picture. I think also he sees the legacy that he needs to leave for his children. So for, Prince George. So it's so much deeper for William. And he wants to make sure that, what happened in the past, like we stick to this. You're gone, you're never coming back. And I think that's a good thing. But Charles, yeah, he just has this way about him that seems to be a little bit softer and not really wanting to address the issues that, have been a big problem, but trying to sweep it under a rug and hide your head in the sand is not a solution. I think you really have to, tackle these issues head on, and you have to say, we cannot, let anything that you could possibly do ruin the monarchy or have an effect, a negative effect on the monarchy. And I think being a father is one thing, you can be a father, do good things with your son. But I think there has to be a line, especially also to protect William and his legacy and his family's legacy. Like there has to be, I think, more that he has to think about. It's not just you as a father at this point. There's your other son that has done things correctly. And we have to have to look at what he would be going through and his wishes. So it just really paints a really good picture about what happened in the past and sticking to that. And you know what, at the end of the day, it worked out. They died, we all moved on, right? Like be exiled, be gone with you. And that's a good thing. We're just going to stick to what we know. We're going to keep doing us, and we're not going to try to change things, try to work you into the equation now, Harry and Meghan or whatever. We just got to keep going steadfast on what we know and just do that, because that's a big risk, having Harry try to come back into the fold. I think even without Meghan, there's a lot of people that just do not like Harry. I mean, even on my channel, I get it a lot. He is not welcome back. Nothing will save this man. Nothing will save him.
I know, and yet Charles is prepared to take the risk. And of course, the other thing that the late Queen was very good at, P-Dina, was being able to separate out duty and
Hmm.
the formal work of the family and her personal feelings.
Right.
And she
Right.
did it in really tough ways, because sometimes as a monarch, you have to be tough. I mean, think of the fact that she denied her sister, Princess Margaret, there on screen, you know, the love of her life. You know, think of the fact that she forced her favorite son, Prince Andrew, into retirement, even though she didn't believe that he had done anything wrong. And certainly when it came to Wallis Simpson and the Duke of Windsor, she did have a personal relationship with him. I mean, it was a cold personal relationship, but you know, she did go and see the Duke before his death,
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
example.
Hmm.
But she wouldn't bring them back into the fold at any
Right.
type of official level. She, you know, she wasn't sending her advisors out to go and do peace talks.
Right.
And that's the difference. I think, look, if Charles really does want to have a personal relationship with his son, I don't think any of us are going to say, okay, I mean, we might say it's unwise and you're stupid, you shouldn't forgive him. But that's, you know, if you want to have a personal relationship with him, as in, you know, you want to have a phone call or a Zoom call or whatever, that's your choice. And it's then on you what you choose to tell him and what gets
Yeah.
leaked. But the difference is the way that these peace talks were organized, P-Dina, is it's talking
Yeah.
about something official, which is what Charles tried to do with the Duke of Windsor. And that was a very silly decision, given the Duke of Windsor was a Nazi sympathizer, P-Dina.
Yeah, exactly. I think you just have to have that clear line between, your family life, the monarchy. I mean, you
The
cannot take
title.
that risk. It just is so clear. And I just hope that William is able to, get that into his father's head that this is why I think William separated himself from the attorneys with the king. I think he is really clearly trying to define himself completely separate from the king and the household and his duties, because there are things that they're having disagreements on, and I think he's trying to convey certain things that the king just doesn't want to hear, and William is ready to take that step that, okay, I have to just kind of break off and, do things the way I like them done. So I think that right there is a good thing. But the king just needs to be very careful. These peace talks were not, I think, a good thing. It sends the wrong message. And now we have what, Harry in Angola right now, and why? It just he's his he wants to come back. We know Harry wants to come back. So this is not just about a relationship. This is about Harry trying to come back and do other things to help himself out in the world, trying to be more respected, and I think they're clear intentions of his relationship with his father in the open, because it serves a bigger purpose for him professionally. And that's where you have to be very careful, because I think the king needs to be more contained in his relationship just to a father son, and not letting it get out to be something more than that. It just doesn't look good. It looks a little, what's going to happen next?
Very, very true. And of course, for more analysis of this, do sign up, subscribe to P-Dina's incredible YouTube channel and my Substack too, www.outspoken.live, where you get first access to the Royal Uncancelled After Show Monday to Friday, completely advertising free, and you can get it either live or on demand. P-Dina, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.